Imagine this. You walk into a restaurant, no menus on the table, just a strange little square on a card. You pull out your phone, scan it, and bam! The entire menu pops up instantly. Or picture this. You're at the airport, no paper tickets, no hassle, just a digital square on your screen that gets you on board. These pixelated black and white boxes are everywhere now, on ads, products, tickets, even tombstones. But here's the real question. Where did these mysterious squares come from, and how in the world do they actually work? Welcome back to Spin of Facts, where we uncover the hidden stories behind the everyday things you never think twice about. Today, we're cracking open the surprising history, science, and secrets of QR codes. And I promise you this, by the end of this video, you'll never look at that little square the same way again. But before we dive in, make sure to hit that like button, smash subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss a single mind-bending fact. The birth of the QR code. Believe it or not, QR codes were not invented for smartphones or marketing. They were born in a car factory. Back in 1994, a Japanese company called Denso Wave, a subsidiary of Toyota, had a problem. Traditional barcodes could only hold about 20 characters of information, just enough for basic inventory. But car parts needed far more data to track production, shipping, and authenticity. Enter Masahiro Hara, the engineer who led the team that invented the QR code. Instead of simple lines, he designed a two-dimensional grid of squares that could store hundreds of times more data than a regular barcode. The design was inspired, fun fact, by the black and white patterns of the board game Go. And just like that, the QR code was born. How do QR codes actually work? At first glance, QR codes look like random chaos, black squares scattered everywhere. But they're actually highly organized. Those three big squares in the corners? They're called position markers, and they help your phone instantly recognize the code from any angle. The rest of the grid contains binary data, patterns of light and dark squares that represent numbers, letters, or even entire website links. Your phone's camera reads the code, converts the patterns into digital information, and voila, you're instantly connected to whatever data it holds. QR codes can store up to 7,000 digits or 4,000 characters, which is why they can handle everything from simple text to full URLs. The world's first QR code use. While today we see QR codes mostly for menus or payments, the very first real-world application was in the Japanese auto industry in 1994. Car manufacturer Toyota used them to track vehicles and parts during assembly. Workers could scan a single QR code and instantly know everything about the car part, origin, lot number, destination, saving hours of manual work. That one innovation helped fuel Japan's legendary reputation for efficiency. Why did QR codes explode in popularity? For years, QR codes quietly worked behind the scenes in factories and warehouses. But then, smartphones arrived. Suddenly, anyone could scan a QR code with just a camera, no special hardware required. The real breakthrough? The COVID-19 pandemic. Suddenly, no one wanted to touch physical menus, tickets, or payment terminals. Businesses worldwide turned to QR codes as the perfect contactless solution. Restaurants, airlines, banks, you name it, adopted them. And in just a few years, QR codes went from a niche tool to a global necessity. Hidden features you probably didn't know. Here's where things get interesting. QR codes are smarter than they look. They can still work even if up to 30% of the code is damaged or obscured. That's why you often see logos or designs embedded in them. They're not limited to black and white. Colors and creative designs can still function as long as contrast remains. Some QR codes can even trigger actions on your phone beyond just opening a website, like joining Wi-Fi, adding a contact, or even making a payment. So next time you scan one, remember, it's more than just a link. It's a mini data vault. The secret inside the design. Ever notice the three big black squares in the corners of a QR code? Those aren't random. They're called position markers, and they tell your phone's camera exactly where the code begins and ends. The rest of the little squares? That's pure data. Binary code, black for 1, white for 0. Even cooler, QR codes have error correction. meaning if part of the code is smudged, ripped, or covered, your phone can still read it. That's why QR codes still scan even when half a logo is slapped on top. The dark side of QR codes. Of course, with great convenience comes great risk. QR codes can also be used maliciously. Hackers sometimes create fake codes that redirect you to phishing sites or trick you into downloading malware. Experts warn, always double-check the source before scanning, especially in public places where stickers could be swapped. It's a reminder that even the most ordinary technology has a hidden edge. Could QR codes disappear? With NFC chips and advanced AI, some experts believe QR codes could eventually fade out. Tap to pay and facial recognition are already replacing them in some areas. But others argue QR codes are too cheap, too simple, and too universal to go away. After all, any phone with a camera can use them. No extra hardware needed. So instead of disappearing, QR codes might evolve into smarter, more integrated digital gateways. How much data can a QR code hold? Here's something mind-blowing. A standard QR code can hold 7,089 digits, 4,296 letters, or even an entire small novel's worth of text. That means if you wanted, you could store your entire resume, a short story, or even song lyrics inside a single square. And if you shrink it with micro QR technology, you can still fit hundreds of characters in something the size of a rice grain. The future of QR codes. What's next? Experts predict QR codes will keep evolving, blending into augmented reality, digital IDs, and even smart packaging that updates in real time. Some cities are already experimenting with QR codes in public transport, while others imagine passports and licenses tied to encrypted QR data. What started as a simple solution in a Japanese car factory could shape the way we interact with the digital world for decades to come. Bonus tip, create your own QR code. Here's something cool. You don't need to be a tech genius to make your own QR code. There are dozens of free websites and apps that let you create one in seconds. You can link it to your portfolio, social media, Wi-Fi password, or even a secret message for friends. Businesses use custom QR codes to share menus, deals, or coupons. But you can just as easily put one on a birthday card that links to a surprise video. It's a quick, creative way to mix the digital and physical worlds, and anyone with a phone can unlock it. So where did QR codes come from? From the mind of a Japanese engineer solving a car parts problem. How do they work? By packing massive amounts of data into a tiny square grid, your phone can decode in seconds. It's simple, brilliant, and a little futuristic. Now I want to hear from you. What's the most unusual place you've ever scanned a QR code? Drop your answer in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, give it a like, subscribe to Spin of Facts, and hit that bell so you never miss our next dive into the hidden stories of everyday life.